Theoretical and actual yield. When you actually perform a chemical reaction, things don't typically go according to plan. The actual yield is oftentimes much less than the theoretical yield. Interestingly, it can also be a little bit more than the theoretical yield, meaning that your stuff is typically a little bit wet. So the theoretical yield would be the maximum you could possibly make, whereas the actual amount is how much you got. If you come up with an analogy to a test, things tend to fall into place for students. That's 100%. That's what you actually got. Think of it as the score on a test. This formula I don't even typically teach to my students. If you got a 66 out of 85, you do 66 divided by 85, turn it into a score, and you'd be amazed how quickly students can determine their score. Let's do an example. The theoretical yield of carbon dioxide for the combustion of 50 grams of butane with plenty of oxygen is a certain number of grams. Now, if you got 25 grams, what is your percent yield? So the first part of the problem is the theoretical yield. The second part of the problem is the actual yield. I see grams and grams, so let's do a three-step conversion, as gram to grams always are, based on the balanced chemical equation. Combustion of butane means it's combining with oxygen to make carbon dioxide and water. I balanced it for you. Convince yourself it's right. And do a three-step conversion. What do you start with? What you're given, 50 grams of butane. Set up your 3 steps. We're going to grams of carbon dioxide. Well, we have a little bit more than a mole, but every time we react a mole, it will make 4 times as many moles of carbon dioxide. How do I know that? 2 to 8. Notice that I'm always going from the units on the left to the top left to the bottom right. Moles of butane, moles of moles of carbon dioxide. Well, a mole of carbon dioxide is 44 grams. Everything cancels, and it should tell us that we can make up to 151.5 grams of carbon dioxide. But some poor bozo only got 25 grams. That is a lousy yield, right? 25 out of a possible 151. That's only a 16.5% yield. That's theoretical and actual yield. Our next topic is combustion analysis.